seems it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones of holly. Suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. Hypocrisy, this mockery, and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.
Sweet eternal balance of all that is good, true, and beautiful. Friends, welcome back to Rogue Soul, where tonight we're talking about money. Money, your money, why you maybe don't have enough of it or as much of it as you think you should have, and what to do about it. I'm going to share also my experience with money and all of this. And even if you feel like you're like pretty good on the whole money mindset, abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset sort of thing, highly encourage you to think a little bit deeper, be open to a little bit more, because I thought I did. And I found out I didn't. So, who knows? Who knows where you're actually at? Be open to that. I'm just in general also excited about everything that is going on, about everything that I've been guided to offer everybody. We just had this big, beautiful full moon abundance blessing recently, that for peace and stability. And that was one of the bigger of the blessings I've been able to offer to you all. Huge turnout for that. Such an honor to do those. Such a big impact on the world and on our lives. We've got the solstice coming up. As you know, I always do something for the solstice. There's going to be a big solstice blessing coming up. I have all of these classes I've been guided to put together and offer, and all of these people are coming to those classes and finding so much value there. And that's really just a huge honor and achievement for all of us. And so I'm just really excited. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the world. It's easy to get caught up in that. But, if you watch the winning report or listen to the winning report each week, you already know we're always winning. So it's not to not care. It's not to never pay attention. It's not to not do your best in all these areas. It's just to remember, don't let that be the thing that determines where you're at, right? Or your worldview. Let what determines where you're at and what your worldview is be from your heart, from your deepest self, from your highest knowing. That's what we want to move towards more and more, right? So yeah, I get really excited. This is my time of year. I just thrive in late fall and winter. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to be 44. I've been getting 44s and 444 and 4444, repeating over and over again constantly for years now. And I finally kind of understood a lot about that. There's various layers whenever we get those sorts of messages. So I've gotten a lot out of that, but I also have understood that year 44 is the year. So that's exciting. I always enjoy my birthday. I always enjoy winter. I enjoy cold. I enjoy snow. I enjoy ice. I enjoy bundling up. I enjoy the coziness. So I'm looking forward to that. And I know I don't want to be one of the people that just goes straight from Halloween to Christmas, but I'm also really excited that Christmas is coming. So I hope you're also excited about all those things. I hope you're doing well wherever you are at. It is challenging. It's challenging recently. The geomagnetic excursion continues. We've been getting kind of pummeled by these X flares, M flares, bigger flares that are Earth facing. They're not always Earth facing. So when you hear about we're having flares and nothing seems to really happen, it's because they're often shooting off other directions. But this last week or so or more, kind of right at us and glancing right by us. So a bit more intensity. And so, that can affect us. You can get headaches. You can get tired. You can feel kind of woozy or out of it. You can need to sleep a lot. You cannot be able to sleep at all. It can hit people in all sorts of different ways. So I always recommend grounding as much as possible, being outside as much as possible, getting as many minerals in safe amounts, but usually you need a lot more sodium than you think you do. Salt, regular salt, Celtic salt, Himalayan salt, real salt, those types of salts. A lot more than they say, I would say. Of course, then I'm supposed to also say, ask your doctor. But get those minerals, get those trace minerals, be just eating and drinking high quality, good stuff to take care of yourself so that you can more easily integrate all of these energies that are coming in. And, we'll have more blessings and support coming up too, I'm sure. So stay tuned for those. And speaking of that, remember you can always go to roguesoul.org to find ways to be supported more directly. Roguesoul.org is where I offer my healing. I support you and teach you how to become your own healer or a healer of others if you like. You can schedule one-on-one sessions with me if you just want some support. If you want your own personal blessing, if you want talk to your spirit guides and allies, get some healing channeled through, get into some past life stuff. There's all sorts of things you can do here with me one-on-one. And at the bottom of every page, there is the email sign up, and you can always enter your email here and be connected so that anytime I do offer a blessing or a class or any of that, you can be the first to know. That's all here at roguesoul.org. And you can also buy my books here, check out the shop, etc. So please do go to roguesoul.org and find everything there, and rogueways.substack.com, which links from the site. So if you're on the site and you go, you can find the link here to rogueways.substack.com. It is the best place to keep in touch. Also, it's you get more out of it than you do out of my email list. My email list, if you're on it, you get 1 to 7 emails a year. It's just like not that many, because I only really have to share things when I have big events or big classes coming up. So not a lot. But if you're on the Substack, you get articles, you get philosophy, you get spiritual and religious outlooks and perspectives, you get really heady, hefty, thick books that I pour through for you, and then, bring distilled into this presses that I then offer you in various ways. That's all for free. If you want to just come subscribe, then it's fantastic. If you also want to support what I do, if you love what I do, you get value out of what I do, I would love to have you as a supporter on Substack. And then you could subscribe at the paid level, and then you also get the channeled messages. The most recent is near-death experiences. There's a lot for free in this post, which is sometimes the case even on paid posts, that there's a lot of free content. But then there's also some channeled message to this and some deeper level to this. So if you're a paid supporter, you get access to all articles all the time. If you're a free supporter, you get a lot of free content. So I hope you're a supporter at whatever level feels good to you at rogueways.substack.com. And so we'll get into a little deeper. We're talking about money tonight. We're talking about money, and it is such a problem for so many people. There are, I want to say, almost no people I have ever encountered where spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, at every level, money is not a problem. So to say that another way, almost everyone I encounter, money is a problem for them. It is so rare to find someone who actually obtains and holds and uses their abundance to their maximum capacity. It's so rare. It's actually blowing my mind now that I'm sitting here talking about it, because there's no reason it should be that way. There's no logical reason why. And this is part of it. You're going to sit here and you're going to tell yourself, well, there's not that much. And there's just, how do you get it? It's hard to get. You have all these things. Trust me, that's 90% of your problem. It's whatever you just came up with to explain away why almost nobody has no problems with money. That's 90% of your problem. So much so, does everybody have a problem with money, that even when I have been working with, friends with, working for people who have a lot more than I've ever had, it's still a problem for them. In various ways, it's like a burden. It's hard for them to hold on to, or, they're always scared it's going to go away, or there's just all kinds of problems. There's no real reason for it. There's no real actual logical reason for it. And again, all those supposedly logical, rational reasons you're coming up with right now in your mind, those are your problems. You have problems. I do too. I get it. I've been through it. In fact, I'd love to share with you more about how much I've been through it. And I know, if you've been a listener or viewer for some time, a bit of my story, but you might be surprised to hear a little bit more about it. So, I'll just say this: everybody has a problem with money. I know almost nobody, very few people out of, let's say, thousands and thousands and thousands of people I've known in my life, known very deeply and well, or worked with on a spiritual level, seen their spiritual, aura and their, area and all the effects and all the karma and all this stuff. Almost nobody has no problem with money. No problem with money at all. No reason for that. No reason for that logically. No reason that that should be that way. And more importantly than that, there is every way for you to break through that. Every way for you to break through that. The reason I say that is because I have done it. So you may know, again, if you've listened to me or watched me long enough, you hear me say this over and over again. Like, I don't say things that I haven't in my own self experienced as true. I don't try to tell people how to live or what to do. And I will say things like maybe or probably or likely or blah, 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 or it seems this way, unless I have directly experienced it. And then I can say, I know this is true. And this is one of those cases where I can say, I know this is true. I know it because I've lived every single possible aspect of the money problem. And I've had to figure out the way through it. And I have. And so my life is transformed. And that's the truth. So everybody has this problem with money. You probably have this problem with money. It's very rare, be very unlikely that any of you listening to or watching this don't have any problems with money. And you might be like, yeah, duh, I do. Of course I do. But I'm saying if you think you don't, you might also be wrong. No offense. And everybody can break through that. There's not a single person who can't break through that. So I would love to share that energy with you, that message with you, and help you to empower yourself about money and your money situation. The whole world could use this message. I would love to share this with the whole world. God, the whole world would transform instantly. I come to this place over and over again in my life in general, where I just wish I could give everything I have to everyone. So it's just like the whole world would change. I wish I could just boop, there it goes. And it's different things at different times, right? The other day I was talking about like, man, I wish I could just give my discernment to everyone, or better discernment than mine, right? This or better for everyone. I wish I could just boop and they could have it. I wish that in this case, I could share the secrets to actually breaking through money blockages with the whole world. With the whole world, the problem comes down to, do people want it or not? Do they think they need it? And do they want it? And then even then, you can think you need it, you can want it, you can then go try to get it, and you can fail to implement it. So I hope that all of you are people who know you need it, who choose to then come get it and follow through and implement it in your life. That would be fantastic. That's my hope for you. And the truth is, you deserve more. You've probably made all the right choices. You've probably worked really hard. You probably whatever, and you still might not have all this abundance, right? I relate. I like this picture. It says, if hard work made you rich, day laborers would be millionaires. Yeah, dude, have you seen how hard? And like, sometimes that's not true and people aren't working at all. And you're like, why are all those people just standing around? And yeah. But have you seen how hard some people do work and they're still not rich? If it was hard work that made you rich, then so many people would be rich. I would be one of them. I have worked hard my whole life. I have literally never met anyone that's worked harder than me. That's how hard I've worked. You might think like you're close. And it's not really a contest, so it's cool if we were tied or you're better or whatever, but I bet you I've worked harder. I started working when I was 14. Before that, I always had chores. Did you not have chores? So many people had chores. So many people didn't have any chores. It blew my mind. I had to wash dishes every day. I had to sweep. I had to clean. I had to do laundry. Like when I was like 7 and up. So like I never wasn't working. And then as soon as I could legally get a job, I got a job. And then I never didn't have a job again. So like from 14 to now, I've been working off in 2 jobs. When I went to college, I'm working 2 jobs the whole time, almost the whole time. Every once in a while, I had a job that was good enough that I could just work the one job, and that was enough money, right? And that was rare. I'm like putting myself through college and live, pay rent, and eat food, and get around and all of that. Yeah, if I'd have 2 jobs, I'd work like an evening job through the weekdays, and then a weekend job, and That's not actually true because I was usually taking evening and weekend classes. So I guess I was working day. Oh, that's right. Okay, here's an I worked one time at Bon Marché, I think it was still called at the time. Now it's Macy's or whatever. I would wake up, I had no car because I had no money. I was living in the cheapest, dirtiest, garbagest apartments in this whole town of Olympia where I lived in Washington State. Dirtiest apartment. They had infestations all the time. It was all the Section 8 people lived there. Like, it was dirt cheap because it was disgusting. It was definitely like the slumlord type of thing. And so before I actually started working for them and got my rent for free for working in the office there, before that, when I first moved down there, I was living in this garbage place. I didn't have a car. I didn't have money to have a car. I had about $300, so I bought a bicycle. And I would wake up at 3 AM. I would take a shower. I would get on my bicycle with wet hair, and I would ride 8 miles to Macy's, where I would then work as a, like, stalker, like a floor stalker, like putting out clothes and putting up the sale signs and all of that. I forget what the job title actually was. The only other people who had that job were Filipino. So all these Filipino ladies are like talking in Filipino around me and whatever. And I'm just like the random white girl that works with them. Like they were probably like, what the hell is wrong with her? It was cool too. I got some discount on some really, really cheap already sale clothes. I would get my, if I needed new clothes, I'd get a pair of pants for like $6 because it's already on markdown, whatever. And then you get your employee discounts. Pretty cool. Very little pay. Super hard. Rode my bike there in the dark at night, basically. And sometimes it'd be raining, snowing. I'd be bicycling in. Crazy town. The same time, I also worked for the college for a federal program tutoring low-income middle and high schoolers, first generation, youth of color, and all of these deeply challenging kids. So I was riding my bike, working all morning, then working for the school during the day, and then taking evening and weekend classes, right? Oh man, you have no idea. I never didn't work my ass off. Nobody gave me anything, didn't have anything, didn't get any inheritances, didn't have any support to get through college. No money came to pay for my college for me. No, we didn't have it. So it was me or nothing. I graduated from high school, I got $50. I hear these people talk about like, oh, high school graduation, all these people are sending them money. They get all these cards, there's all this money. I got $50. That's what I had to like build off of, except my savings I had from working my ass off through high school. So I worked my ass off through high school. I worked my ass off through college. I finally graduated. Took me 9 years because I was working my ass off to get my master's degree. Got my master's degree. Worked my ass off to get my master's degree. Just being in college is working your ass off if you're doing it well. Right? And I was. A lot of people don't. I was, worked my ass off. And then I was a teacher. And I don't know if people realize what teaching is, but especially when you're just starting, again, if you're doing it well, that was 80-hour work weeks. I would clock it. 80-hour work weeks. That was the minimum I could do being a fast, intelligent, really good teacher if I actually wanted to do it well. 80 hours. When I worked my ass off for many years, I got that down to 60 hours. So I would just teach and then only have to be in the classroom another 20 hours after the kids were gone per week. So I had some time off. And then eventually years later, I got that down to like 50 hours. And that was amazing. And that was only because I taught the same sorts of classes again and again. So I had done most of the work. So I had it already. Still had to work longer than 40 hours just to do the job. And so that brought me all the way up to just about 8 years ago when I quit teaching. And that was the first time in my life I didn't have 80-hour work weeks, 80 hours 2-job and study weeks. Dude, if somebody was going to prove that hard work doesn't get you rich, it's me. I just did not get me rich. Any money I had was from, I guarantee you, quite accidental investments in properties that were cheap pieces of shit that I could only afford because I had worked my ass off enough to get tiny little down payments that were good enough to get this tiny piece of shit property. And then it just so happened to go way up in value because of all the boom and bust around the Seattle region. It was just accidental timing things, right? And I just happened to get like this little chunk of money, a tiny chunk. To anyone else, it would feel like just beans, right? And that wasn't even from hard work. So here's the proof, right? All my hard work didn't get me the money. Really accidental, totally unintentional, and all of a sudden I got tiny bit of money, tiny bit of money. Nothing to most people. If I told you how much, you'd probably laugh that I thought it was like a really good amount of money. So it was the most money I'd ever had. So yes, if hard work made you rich, I'd be rich long ago. Long ago. I've been a pad printer in a hydraulic machine. I had to program, work with toxic chemicals, you know. I've worked in the middle of the night. I've worked in tons of kitchens. I've been prep cook. I've been, uh, cold side cook, dishwasher. I've been a busser. I've been a hostess. I've been like, what have I not been? I've been so many weird random jobs. I've worked in bookstores. I've worked retail. Worked every kind of education job you can imagine, tutoring, babysitting, all of it. What job have I not had? I've worked my ass off in all of them. Taking care of people with developmental disabilities. Crazy stuff. I've been in positions before with children where I've had to restrain them while they tried to kick, rip my skin off, spit in my face. You know, I should be rich for all the hard work I've done. I've never met someone who's worked harder than me. And I like, I don't even want that to be a point of pride. I actually think it's like really unfortunate and ridiculous that we do sometimes do that where we're like, oh, I work so hard and look at me. And it's cool. It is good. It's good to have good work ethic. It's good to be acting for your benefit. It's good to be, intentionally, how can I get what I need? Now I'm going to go get it. Here I am getting it. Right. Like it's good to do all of that. It's not actually a contest and it's not actually something to be like overly proud of. Right. I'm not saying you should look at it with disdain either. I'm just saying, like, why do we glamorize it sometimes? So like, yeah, I work hard, I sweat, I like bust my, I've got calluses on my hands. Like, what are you, pansy? Like that kind of attitude, right? Like that's also not cool. But it is true. If we worked hard and that equaled actual value and worth, like we would be rich. And so I caution you here not to then go into like, yeah, well, if the capitalist or the crony capitalist or the, socialist welfare state or the taxes or the whatever that is in your head. I'm not saying that's not something that actually matters and is real and that you can, do stuff about. I'm just saying like that's not it either. Because there are also people who make plenty of money and still have to deal with the taxes and still have to deal with the like paying this person their share and that person their share and all of this stuff. So that's also not it. These are all pieces of it. You do actually have to work, sometimes hard. You do actually have to think about what is the economic situation I'm in, societally and politically, and like how do I best deal with that? That's all true. But this is not the thing, right? This is not what actually makes it that we have money now, that we're just in our abundance now. I would be multimillionaire, and you might be too, right? If you look back at your life and you've worked really hard too, you would be too. So that's not it. It's not hard work, not the thing, right? So what is it? Well, maybe, well, that's actually what I was already talking about. Maybe it's that, we just need to be thriftier. Maybe we've been too wasteful with our money. I could definitely look at some things and be like, yeah, I didn't need to spend that much, or I didn't need to buy that. Right. I went beyond my means technically. Like, ideally you were like working enough and you had this much saved, and then you were actually saving that. And then, and I would always be like, oh, I have this much saved. Now I can finally have a junker car. Right. So I was like, there's some things I could say like don't actually fit like the savviest way of being thrifty. But I have actually been just ridiculously thrifty. And maybe you have been too, right? And so if we're thrifty, then shouldn't we be rich? If we worked our ass off and we're thrifty, shouldn't we be rich? Shouldn't we have all this abundance? Yeah, and I'm so thrifty. I've shopped at thrift stores before it was cool because that's all we had access to, right? I'll get tiny bit of new clothes every year, and then the rest had to just be like found. It's just like this. You've got 2 outfits. Now you need to supplement with thrift stores and hand me down and like other people, your friends who were gracious enough to be like, here, I'll give you my old shit, right? Like That's me. So you have to be thrifty. You have to reuse stuff. You have to take really good care of stuff so it does not get ruined because you don't have a backup and no one else is coming to back you up. Right? I I get made fun of because of how thrifty I am. I will be like, "Oh, that soap dispenser still has a sheen of soap on the walls. You can't see it pulled up at the bottom. You think it's empty, but actually there's some on the walls, so we need to shake water around in that soap dispenser so we can wash our hands with it until it's gone." That's how thrifty I am. It's maybe even like a mental mindset that is not appropriate, right? Like over attachment to using things to their fullest possible potential. This is how thrifty I am. The other day, I've had this little pouch that I keep in my purse full of some like necessary items, so that I know where they are in my purse, like, chapsticks and just different things. So a little pouch in my purse. Someone gave it to me as a gift 15 or 20 years ago. It's been in however many purses since then. Never got it. It is falling apart to the point every time I've pulled it out for at least 5 years now, pieces of it fall off. But I'm like, it still holds things and zips, so it's fine. So I keep it. The other day, I pull it out, it's like, now it's about to, like, rip through and stuff's gonna fall out, so I'm like, "Oh, man, I need a new thing." Happened to be at a market Johnny was vending at, and somebody happened to have some, like, homemade, and I love supporting local, and I love homemade stuff, and, so I'm like, "Okay, this is cool." Super cheap too, like, ridiculously cheap, $5. Couldn't even believe little really beautiful handmade little pouch. So I was like, "Oh, man, I feel like you deserve, like, $20 for this, but, very thrifty, so I'm gonna give you 5 because that's what you asked for." And I buy this pouch. I bring it back to, the booth we're at. I'm like swapping things out. And I have this pouch that is garbage. It's long since been garbage. And I still don't want to throw it out because I'm crazy thrifty. So I'm like, hey, what if that girl, since she makes things, what if she can do something with these materials? This zipper's probably fine, right? Someone can use this zipper. This is how crazy I am. I walked back to her booth and I was like, hey, this is probably the weirdest question you've ever been asked, but do you have any use for this? And she looks at it and she looks at me like I'm crazy. And then she's very kind and removes the "you're crazy" look from her face. And she's like, oh, this is very well loved. And I really appreciate the offer. And there's nothing I can do with this. And I was like, okay, kind of embarrassed. Thanks. She's like, that is the weirdest question anyone's ever asked me. And then I went and had a hard time throwing it into the garbage. That's how thrifty I am. There's nothing in my entire sphere that won't get used until it's absolutely unusable. And if it isn't, and it's still usable in some way, I will find someone who will use it. Like I will go out of my way and drive somewhere extreme to get someone the thing that might be used a little bit more. It's insane. So maybe you're not as thrifty as me. Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't matter because that's not the thing. I also am not rich from being thrifty. I also might have technically a little bit more money here and there from being that thrifty. And it's cool to be thrifty and it's good to be thrifty. It's good to not waste things, to really, find uses for it. Like that's fantastic. And it's not the reason. It's not the thing. It's not the thing that's going to get you rich. It hasn't gotten me rich. Been doing it my whole life. Again, this grew from a scarcity reality. Like we didn't have enough. So like you have to use everything to its extreme because there might not be anything else coming, right? That's where this came from. And that hasn't gotten me rich. And you might be kind of like stopping now and being like, wait, like, what's the point? Are we all trying to get rich? Well, maybe not. I mean, you're super happy with your situation and your abundance. Cool. Nobody needs to push you to be anything else than that. You're great. Do your thing. I was like, hold up. Why don't I have more money than this? This is crazy, actually. I was a professional for years, for decades. I worked my ass off. I have all this money. I'm thrifty. Like, what the hell? And there actually was something in the way. And it wasn't my thriftiness and it wasn't my hard work, right? There was reason that I wasn't in my abundance and it wasn't those things. And they can get related, right? There can be some things that are in the way that end up coming out as thriftiness or coming out as working even harder and, those sorts of things. So for sure, well, we can look at all of these aspects and find something to improve or something to do less of or be less crazy about. All of that's true. But there's something else besides these things that is actually in the way. And it's also then, okay, it's not my thriftiness, it's not my hard work, or working hard enough, I'm definitely thrifty. Is it that I've just been financially stupid, right? Is it that I've been financially ignorant? Is it that I like don't know how to manage money? And so I, reflect on no, it's not that either. I'm actually, again, pretty savvy. Not the savviest. There's probably people who, might go to be day traders or they're like betting on cryptos or like I don't know what else people do that's a little bit like risque with money and like a little bit, yeah, you got to know what you're doing and that's its own sort of almost like profession and like, I'm not there. Sure. But that's a different sort of thing, but I am definitely like very savvy. I'm like, I understand which generally which investments are sound, like, land and, some of the cryptos perhaps and, some other things and I've done a little bit to work with that. I have a savings that, or it's not a savings, sorry, a retirement, and I chose, which things to invest in, and that's done pretty well for me. So my retirement might be somewhat decent, even though I didn't work that much. It's definitely not enough to like do what most people want to do with their retirement, but it's weirdly more than it like should be. In my opinion, I think I was a bit more aggressive with it. I think a lot of people go with like the safest, slowest route. And I was like, let's go all the way. What have I got to lose? So there's like some investment, financial sorts of things I've been pretty savvy about, been very lucky even with some of my, financial stuff. Had a beautiful, wonderful fan, listener, and supporter, and even guest on the show, Derek of Esoterics, yes. And fantastic tax support and advice. If you're looking for a tax guy, like he's definitely the one. Very, very happy that he found me and offered me services, thank God. And that's been really helpful, especially as I have started this business, right? Which is Rogue Ways, Rogue Soul, and what was always Rogue Soul Services. And Rogue Soul has been my business for 7 years. I mean, I'm scrolling back here through the now restored YouTube channel, which it was the old that is now new again YouTube channel, which is YouTube at Rogue Ways or youtube.com/c/Rogue Ways. And look, we're all the way back now 6 years, 8 years. And there's a lot deleted in there that isn't here still, but this started more than 7 years ago now, and this has been my business that whole time, and still not rich. Still not rich, but eventually I had my breakthrough. But through many years of this, I was like, why aren't I getting more money? Barely enough, right? Again, economically savvy, I found a way to make my monthly payment to survive in a domicile exceptionally low, like beyond reason. I found a way to have no car payment. I found a way to make every single bill I have the cheapest version of itself you can have. Found the great tax guy, did all of this stuff, thrifty, hardworking, da 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 da. Still not like massive abundance. Like, what is it then? Right? What is it? As I went through this journey, I started offering my soul services, like I said, Rogue Soul Services, and that was cool. Still blockages to abundance. And so it's sad because people think like, oh, I wrote a book, now everyone's going to buy it. Well, I have 8. Not everyone's buying it, right? Oh, well, I started a show, so now people are gonna like it, and now I'm gonna get money. Like, hopefully, I mean, I hope so, but like maybe not. Oh, but I'm like doing this, and so now that's gonna be the thing. Like, maybe not. So what is it that determines it? It's not hard work. It's not thrift. It's not business savvy. It's not economic savvy. And so this will at this point lead most people to one conclusion, and that's that it's luck or it's the system against them. And again, well, I won't pretend those things don't play a part. They absolutely do. Right? There is a system built against you. That's true. And still there's uncountable people who have their abundance anyway. So you know for sure that that isn't a 100%. That system being against you isn't the thing that stops you, right? So the system against you, sure, it's against you. But that's not the thing that is stopping you. And then luck, yeah, luck, but I don't actually believe in luck. I never really have, and I'll say it sometimes, "Oh, that's lucky," or like what, I'll use it in parlance. It's not something I actually believe. I don't actually believe that people are just randomly lucky in the sense that we mean luck as in something that was not deserved or was not achieved or was not sensible in response to that person's being. I don't believe in that. I've never seen it actually, and that's why I don't believe in it. I've never seen it happen. I don't, and so I don't believe in it. It's not that I just like choose not to believe in it. I have not seen evidence that there is such a thing as undeserved, random, purely coincidental luck. No, I haven't seen that at all. I have seen that there's this sort of we make our luck, right? And that whole thing of like God does for those who do. Well, I've been doing, and I think God's been doing too. But then there's still been something in the way, right? I still did all of that, did it right, worked hard, everything good, and still wasn't in my deepest abundance. So I still had to have backup jobs, right? I was in this deep 3 years, 4 years, and I was still doing other jobs, which is cool. I'm not opposed. I was just like, this is still not enough, right? Even though I've lowered all my bills and I've done all of this and I'm investing savvy and I'm thrifty and I'm this and I'm working hard and I still need another job. Like, what is it? Right. And then I took it seriously. I took it seriously. What actually is it? And what actually is manifesting? And what actually is karma when it comes to money? And what actually is clearing blockages around money and economics? And then everything changed. And I'm like, I can look at it as night and day. I can look at it as before I took all that seriously and after I took all of that seriously. And it is not even comparable. And once I took it seriously and I really began to apply these tools and these messages, there was just abundance and it was just around. And I'm still not a millionaire or whatever, but I have enough and I don't have to think about the price of the bread when I go. I don't even buy bread, but the price of, whatever it is when I'm at the store. And I'm not just like wantonly like, oh, get like the most expensive champagne. I don't even drink, but I'm still just like a reasonable person. But I don't have to ask how much is this? I know I have enough, right? I don't have to ask, can I go on a vacation next year? I just know I'll be able to. Right? I don't have a brand new car. I don't have, I have a really old van. In fact, it's like nobody but me would want, but I don't need it and I'm happy and I have more than enough. I could actually get a newer car if I wanted it and I have the abundance for that too. I don't really need it. I haven't done it yet. There's my thriftiness, I guess. But the point is, I'm not a millionaire. I'm not telling you like, oh, all of a sudden you'll become a millionaire. You might, dude. I don't know what your karma or your blockages are. I'm just saying it is such a huge difference day and night. Before I was struggling, stressed, wondering if I was going to have enough and all of this. And afterwards, I never again even questioned whether I would have enough or whether or not. My abundance was here. It is. It's here. And it'll grow, and I know that too. I might be a millionaire someday, and if so, hallelujah, we will all benefit from that. You will. I know I will. I know a lot of people will. I think about like the most fun I think I could ever have with money is to be one of those people who like hangs out in like a Walmart or where a lot, places where like a lot of lower income people will shop, older people and people on fixed incomes and all that sort of stuff, and just sort of like sneak in at the last minute and tap to pay for them and just cover their bill and then just run away without even saying anything. Like, I can't wait for that moment. And I know it's coming. And that was what it was. That's when I took it seriously, things changed. So I found this little image that says you can't manifest the life you desire without clearing the karma that's blocking it. No amount of vision boarding can override what your soul came here to complete. And that is the truth. That is the truth. But what you might imagine when you hear that is like, "Oh, great. So, like, my soul might just be fucked and, like, I can't get any money and, like, ugh," like, that's not how karma works. I know there's a bunch of really wrong teachings about karma, but karma can be transformed. I was working with someone and they had some health issues, and we were talking about what we can do and how the healing works, and whether or not it was possible that they were ever past this physical illness. And it's like, well, yeah. And she said, but I thought it was karmic. And I was like, well, it is. And she's like, well, I thought you can't change your karma. It's like, oh no, that's not true at all. No, that's not true at all. In fact, that's like the whole point, is that you understand your karma. The more you understand it and know how to work with it, the easier everything gets. Is the karma, some people replace it with like the lesson. And that's kind of not really the truest truth about karma. It's not just like, oh, what is it I need to learn, or whatever, but it is kind of about like your orientation and like how you do or don't encounter things, move through things, release things. It's more like that, which can feel like a lesson, and it might result in an actual knowable lesson. But that's not like the whole of it, right? The whole of it is understanding like what happened. Why is this karma here? What is the karma? And what can I do about it? And that's so earth-shattering, empowering, and life-changing. It's, again, I wish I could just boop, give it to everybody. Just the understanding of like, boop, here's what karma is, and here's how to deal with it. Here's how to move through it. And luckily, I do get to offer it to some of you. So that's exciting for me. It's not just karma, it's also trauma from this life and others, which is, in my opinion, the same thing. But we can talk about it differently because it hits differently, it feels differently, and kind of you can apply different things around it. So I talk about karma, I talk about trauma, I talk about programming. And there's a bit of it you might see, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You might think, oh, I already understand money and blockages and manifesting, and you might. And very cool, very happy for you if you do, and if your story's sort of like mine, where like everything transformed once you really got it, once you understood it, once you started working with it, congratulations. But I think a lot of us, like I did, I thought I understood manifesting, and I thought I understood karma and stuff, and then I really understood it, and then I really applied it, and that was a different story. So the programming around it is similar. And so like if you can kind of open yourself to this idea of like, I may have thought I was aware of my programming around money, but I might not. I might not actually be aware of all of it. And there might be a lot more hidden in there that I can uproot and transform. And that's actually what your soul here is to complete, is that. So I'm in my abundance now. I don't question it. I have it. It's clear. It's obvious to me. There is no going back to the old mindset. Once you've transformed something that completely, like, you don't go back. I mean, like, technically you can. So like, if you want to prove me wrong, go for it. But realistically, if you really have internalized unknowing, like, you're there, right? You've gone, you're here. So I feel like I'm here. I've got it. And this is how it feels to me, is that I have it. It's like this tree that's this money growing trees. Yeah, it does. It just comes. It just is here. And it genuinely is different from what I experienced before. So I would love to share all that. I would love to share all that, like I said, with every single person on earth. I'd love to just boop and give it to people. But unfortunately, that is not actually how people work. And it's not how you work. It's not how I work. It's not how we work. We actually have to choose it, receive it, and use it for it to transform us. So I am offering this as a class. And I call it the money package because I love that name. I love that name. It's like a package of money that you get to take, making it infinitely valuable. I'm offering this course, and it is infinitely valuable. So like I said, nobody offered it to me as a course. I had to get messages and like really dig deep and really reflect and ask for guidance. And when you're doing that with just yourself, it's like, man, it's so much harder. It's so much harder when you just have you to go off of. So much easier when you have other mirrors around you. In this case, like a group setting for a class makes it even more transformational, because you get to see other people, how they're thinking or how they're moving through it. And that helps you recognize yourself. And, so there's so much power in this. I didn't have that. I didn't have that, but I love that I get to put it together. I was called to do it as usual. My guidance came through and they were like, hey, and actually how it came through was like, hey, you're going to teach this class in September. Then you're going to follow it up with the money package. And then you're going to follow that up with the sound healing class. And so that's what I've been doing. And so we did the heart-centered healing class in, I think it was September. Yeah. And a ton of people came through for that. It was super amazingly transformative for people. And I know how transformative it could be, but I never know, like, it's each person gets to determine. So I never actually know, like, how much are people going to take? How much are they going to do? How much are they going to apply? People who showed up to this class were like, you guys were great. It was awesome. So we had a great turnout, a huge group, a really beautiful transformational experience, life-changing for people. That was the heart-centered healing course. It is going to come back around again. I'm going to do this same trio of classes next year, earlier in the year, and then maybe again if there's enough people interested beyond that. But they build off of each other perfectly. And so the money package is actually the second class in the series, but it's the only class in the series you could take at any time. And you don't have to be interested in heart-centered healing to do it. So the sound class that's going to come up probably a month or two away, or the end of next month, that you can't take unless you've had heart-centered healing with me, or you've committed to a course of one-on-ones with me so that I can get you up to this place where the sound healing class would be safe and effective for you and meaningful. So otherwise it's not open, but the money package, anybody can go to the money package. It's like, because anybody can transform their money blockages. You don't have to be a healer or a service person in order to do it. So having said that, this class is geared especially towards service people and healers and spiritual workers, because we often have the biggest money blockages. We actually need it more than the general public for the most part. And there's so many reasons why. And so that was also something I wish somebody could have taught me much earlier. And I had to instead kind of like forge through it on my own and figure it out. And now I get to offer it to you. So if you are anybody, and or especially if you're a healer, service person, or person who has been working in any kind of service in your life, even if it's not spiritual, it's of the same nature, and you would benefit from the money package. So the money package course has so much to offer you. I say it's easy to get bogged down in the negative karma, trauma, and programming around money, especially if you're spiritually aware, spiritually sensitive, or in spiritual service work or offering. This class is for you. In this class, you will become empowered to know your worth, know how to talk about money in your practice and with clients. Again, that would also be true with anybody, even if you're different kind of work, different kind of clients. You'd still know how to do that. Any kind of business situation where you're offering goods or services to people, this would also apply. But even if not any of that, it's still good to think about these types of things and how to talk to people about you and your money in the future, right? You'll discover your karma and your trauma around money and remove those blockages. And you'll open up pathways to abundance in every way. I say people who have worked with me on money and finances have discovered what it truly is: an energetic vibration that either blocks or allows money to come to you, and that there is everything we can do about it. Even if you feel financially sound, this is a great way to open up even more abundance pathways and remove old mindsets that are gumming up the tracks to prosperity. We will meet 3 Sundays from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern for 2 hours each. And so in the past, sometimes it's a little under 2 hours. Almost always it's a bit over 2 hours. So I say that, but the class is as long as the class needs to be. So that's how much we've got blocked out for it. If you've been in enough classes with me, you might block a little bit more time out for it if you want. But no matter whether you can be there for that time on these days, the whole time after, or whatever it might be, doesn't matter, because any class I ever offer is always recorded and it's always available through the course of the class, and generally for about at least a week or 2 after the class ends. So you have plenty of opportunities to be there live. Come back to it whether you were there live or not, and review it as many times as you want. So in the heart-centered healing class, I would see on the recording hundreds of views because people would come back over and over and over and over because there's so much in there and you think you got it all, but you just want to go back again, fill out your notes even more, whatever it might be. So I really pack these classes full. I really make them high value classes. They are very, very transformative for people. And this money class actually starts this coming Sunday. So if you're watching or listening to this live or within a few days of release, there's plenty of time for you to sign up if you have felt called during this episode to do such. So November 16th, 23rd, and 30th are the Sundays that we're going to meet from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern. Again, you can check out the recording if you can't be there live. No worries. I do say the classes are recorded and accessible for a few weeks after the class. And I didn't put on here, but it's true that we will have some optional practicums in the Heart Center Art Healing class and the Sound Healing class. Those are not optional. But in the Money Package class, we'll have some optional opportunities to do some of the practices together. And so that's a little bit more powerful sometimes when you do something in a group. When you do something on your own, it's still powerful, of course. And when you do it with another, wherever two or more are gathered in my name, there so am I type of thing. It enhances for everybody the more of us are present. So you have some optional practicums in addition to those times. And you also have an optional blessing that will be for removing blockages to financial abundance. And so all of that is involved with the class and included in the class. And the price that I get to offer this for is $444. But what's crazy to me, I do this thing. So I get guided to do a thing and then I say, okay, so in the end, after I've got the idea and I've sort of like the message about it and what it's supposed to be and when it's supposed to be and all of that stuff, I just ask my spiritual guidance and I say, okay, what's the price for this? What's the value for this? And I'm not even every time I couldn't even emphasize this enough. 100% of the time, the number I'm given, I refuse. This is not actually, I shouldn't even be telling you this because it's not how you should do things. And I don't want you to follow me in this pattern. It's not the best pattern. It's one of my blockages I'm still working on, is what I'm saying. So when I asked what's the value of this class, they were like, many thousands of dollars. I was like, okay, cool. But like, how much can we get away with, actually like asking people for? And even then they were like, no lower than 777. And I was like, that's really neat. And I agree that that's actually more than a good deal and that it's super fair. It's more than fair, but for what people are going to get out of this, like that's nothing. And I'm aware that people really aren't feeling flush right now. So like, what can we like bare bones? What can we do? And they were like, okay, well, you can offer it for $444. And so I'm offering it for $444 and probably shooting myself in the foot. I'm also offering a coupon. So those of you who do watch this all the way through to this point, meaning you actually have been interested, here's your payoff. If you would like to purchase this class today, as long as it's before we actually start this coming Sunday on the 16th, you can use the coupon code MONEYKARMA111 and you can get another $111 off that price. That is a stellar deal. I hope that you take it. And again, Money Karma 111, write it down. Go to the site at roguesoul.org, open the shop. It's the first thing there. It's called the Money Package. It's a class. You can buy it there. Use the coupon code Money Karma 111. Do it right now. And that is it. I offer this because I did it for myself. I offer this because I sludged through it my whole life and finally understood it and transformed it. I offer this because I can only offer what I've given to myself. And I offer it because I was told to. I was told to offer it for a lot more. So I don't always listen that well. And again, I kind of shoot myself in the foot for that. It's a different kind of money karma I'm accruing because of it. Um, but that's just what I choose. It's a thing. And we've acknowledged, I acknowledge that that's going to transform as well as time goes on. And I'll tell you this. I used to go the opposite direction, and I was like, no, I'm not even I'm going to offer this for like $20 because nobody can afford it. Nobody's going to do it. Like, that's a scarcity mindset, right? So I'm getting better, could be even better. No skin off your back. Any karma incurred for that price is all mine. So that's just your benefit. And so I hope you come and join. I hope you recognize yourself in some of this. I hope you see your potential in all of this. I hope you see that you can transform everything that you do financially, that you are financially. I hope you see that you can actually live in the type of abundance, right, where you don't have to think about or wonder if you've got enough. You just do have enough and always will. That's my hope for you. That's what I hope to offer in this class. I know I'm offering in this class. It's what I hope you choose to receive in taking this class. And, if you are interested, like I said, in some of those other classes I mentioned, the opportunity will come back around, or you can always work with me one-on-one. That's all there on the site or on my Calendly, calendly.com/rogueways. You can book any of the journeys, and during any of those journeys, we can work on heart-centered healing, and you or the money package, or the sound healing course. I always think it's better to do it with the group. I always think it's better to do it all together. There's synergy there. There's, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts sort of energy going on. And so I think that's ideal. I hope you choose to follow through on those things if they call to you. But everything's really available to you. And so I hope you choose it. I hope you give it to yourself. You're worth more. You have access to more, and you can get more. So I hope you do. And until then, travel well, aim for balance, and always look inside first. Mwah.
Glued to these screens, it's a plot to drop the IQ. Fighting amongst each other over rumors that don't like you. Prefer us trapped in melancholy with the wood ones, the holly suggestions that obliterate to camouflage the folly. Attempted mental robbery, executed sloppily. The pomp proceeders mockery and walk the talk with me. Put the hands up to touch the Akasha, cause you know deep down there's something bigger than your wallet.